Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us, and welcome to the Steinel America webinar on our new Mobile Heat 7 and tools made for roofing. This is a micro webinar, so we'll keep it to 20 minutes or less. Please feel free, if you have any questions, to add it in the question box, and we will get to those at the end. Today, our presenter is our Director of Tools, Mike Moore. Mike?
Okay. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone, depending where you are in the United States right now. As Jen mentioned, I am Mike Moore. I am the Director of Sales for Tools for Steinel America. So today, we're going to be talking about our newest heat tool, the Mobile Heat 7. So just real quick, who are we? Steinel, we are a German electronics company. All of our products are designed and engineered in Germany, and then all of our products are made in Europe. Some of the parts are made in Switzerland, some of the parts are made in Germany, and final assembly for most tools is in Romania. So, what about Steinel? One thing that Steinel is known for is high quality and long-lasting tools. As I previously mentioned, it's German engineering. All of our tools are rigorously tested before they're shipped, so they go through a calibration process before they're shipped. All of our professional grade tools come with ceramic elements. We have replacement parts available for most of our tools, and just about all of our E-series tools have a thermocouple in it that prevents the tool from overheating. And what do I mean by that? If you restrict the airflow of a heat gun, a lot of the heat will then back up into the tool. If that tool does not have a thermocouple, you're going to basically ruin the gun, because the heat is going to build back up and essentially overstress the heating element. So all of our tools that have thermocouples will recognize that backflow of hot air into the tool, and then we'll adjust the current to the heating element so it doesn't overheat. That is something that's very important, which a lot of people don't know or understand. If you buy a simple Wagner heat gun at Home Depot and put a restrictor nozzle on it, that tool's only going to last you probably an hour or two before it burns up. But all of our professional grade tools have that thermocouple to prevent that from happening. And as you know, in the roofing industry, just about all heat guns need to have some type of nozzle on it. It's particularly a nozzle that restricts the airflow, so it's important to have that. We also are very concerned about safety and the user's experience with the tool. So all of our tools are ergonomically designed to fit in the palm of your hand and be balanced. As I already mentioned, the thermocouple prolongs the life of the heating element. We work real hard to keep the noise of the tool down. We have some safety accessories available. One of those accessories is a guard cage that can be put around the heating element so you don't get burns. Some of our tools have an LED indicator, and if you look at the picture, that's a HG 2620. That tool is unplugged, and if it's hot, that red light, if the heating element is still hot, that red light will flash even if the tool is unplugged. And obviously, we don't sell anything in North America unless it is UL or CSA listed. So on to the meat of the presentation. I'd like to introduce to you our Mobile Heat 7. This tool was specifically designed for the roofing market. It can be used for other applications as well, but it was primarily designed for the roofing market. The segment of the roofing market that it's designed for is for maintenance and inspection work. This is a time-saving tool. It is not intended as a production tool. This is for the user that has small jobs, like a small patch job, to get you up on the roof, do the job, and get off without taking a generator, etc., all the way up onto the roof. The MH7 accepts all Steinel nozzles and competitor nozzles. So a lot of your potential customers, or if you're a contractor, You have a lot of tips for the Leister tool. Those tips will fit directly on this tool as well with no adapter nozzle. It will weld all the common roofing membranes, TPO, PVC, EDPM. Also, the peel and stick bitumen patches where you need to heat. After you peel it off and you stick it down, you have to heat around the edges. This is normally done, or traditionally done with a flame. We have a bitumen nozzle that can attach to this, and you can then heat that bitumen patch as well. I've tested it in the field. It does work. You got to move a little bit slower compared to other membranes, but that's very important, particularly because more and more insurance companies are not allowing open flame on roof for any reason. And as I previously mentioned, it's ergonomically designed. So going on to the data, it's an 18-volt tool. The airflow is about 10.5 cubic feet per minute. There's 9 different temperature settings, maxing out at 1,022 degrees. The battery is on the Bosch battery platform. As you can see, under the weight and dimensions, in Europe, they made the decision to go with the 8 amp hour battery. However, in the US, we are going with the 12 amp hour battery for the additional runtime. So that weight and dimensions are a little bit off on this data sheet because it was done with the 8 amp hour battery. But keep in mind that in the US, we are only marketing this, or we are primarily marketing this with the 12 amp hour battery. You can use the 8 amp hour battery in the US. Your runtime is just going to be a little bit longer. And as always, all Steinel products come with a 1-year warranty. Going on to the product features, this slide is pretty self-explanatory, but just want to point out some highlights. The temperature wheel. As I mentioned, there's 9 heat settings. In the instruction manual, there is a chart which says what temperature correlates to what setting. Depends on the roofer. Some guys just like to turn it all the way up, and others like to go a little bit lower. Is it exactly equal to a Leister? The short answer is I don't think so. I would definitely look in the manual to make sure that our number matches up with whatever temperature you're looking for. The last thing I want to point out on this is that temperature wheel also has a red LED indicator on the wheel. If you could picture that number 8 having a red glow behind it. When you turn the tool on, that LED indicator will blink. Once it reaches your target temperature, the red blinking light will then become a solid red light. That way you know you're at the temperature. So for example, to get up to the max temperature, it takes about 25 to 30 seconds to get to the max temperature. For the lower temperatures, obviously it's a little bit quicker. When you turn on the tool, the fan is going to be running very low. The fan will not go up to full speed until the target temperature is indicated. So moving on to product benefits. Why should you use this tool compared to the traditional Leister, etc., that you're used to? Bottom line, this is going to lower your operating costs. Think about, as I mentioned, a maintenance call, a small patch on a roof. You get there, you got to send 2 guys. It's a large roof. Your repair is right in the middle of the roof. You can't find any power on the roof, so then you got to drag up some generators, long extension cords, etc. With this tool, you don't need to do any of that. So a 15-minute patch job, 15 minutes of welding, is going to take you about 15 minutes, as opposed to maybe an hour or hour and 20 minutes when you factor in the 25 to 30 minutes it takes to set up and tear down. So the more repair calls you can do in the day, the lower your operating costs are going to be. The other thing I like to point out, which some people don't really think about, is when the inspector comes to certify the roof, if the person that's walking around with the inspector has this tool with them and can fix all the cold welds that the inspector might find right in the spot, if you can get off that roof without a punch list, that savings alone will pay for the cost of the MH7 kit, hands down. So as I mentioned, so the big benefit of it is we're going to lower your operating costs by pretty much through extensive labor savings. Right now, we're the only cordless tool in the market that gets hot enough to do this kind of work. Technically, there is another quote unquote cordless tool in the marketplace, but it does in fact have a cord that goes into a backpack with a 40-pound battery. It's priced much higher than our tool, so because it has that cord, it's not truly cordless in my opinion. As I mentioned, you get up to 1022 degrees, and this tool does have a thermocouple. Pointing out a few more key features, and these are probably some of the questions that all of you had since I started talking. First of all, battery life. Depending on the use, depending on what temperature setting you have and the weather conditions, the 12 amp hour battery will last about 15 to 20 minutes of run time, not 15 to 20 minutes consecutively. So the key thing here is when your operators are on the roof working with the tool, when they're repositioning things and they're moving around, they should definitely turn the tool off while they're doing that in order to prolong the battery life. But just an average 15 to 20 minutes of runtime. Now, if you just turn the tool on and let it run, meaning like you want to see how long the battery is going to last, if you just turn the tool and let it run and don't use it, you're going to get about 16 and a half minutes. But if you're at a lower temperature setting, you're turning it on and off, we're confident to say that you'll get at least 20 minutes of runtime. No cool down required. This is something that is a little foreign to roofers because it's been drilled in their head that they need to cool down their corded hand welders in order to preserve the heating element life. This tool is designed for on and off use. It's basically similar to a hair dryer. Who here actually runs their hair dryer through a cool down mode? Nobody does. That's the best analogy I can give to the technology for this tool. The heating element is rated at 800 hours. So if you do the math, think about it. Even if you use this tool 5 days a week, because you're only doing small patches here and there, you might run the tool an hour, maybe 2 hours a day, if that. So the tool should last a long time, as long as you take care of it, meaning you don't drop it when the heating element is hot. The other question that we get a lot is can the heating element be changed? And the simple answer is no. Technically, we could provide spare heating elements, but it would have to go to a certified technician. By the time you pay for the cost of the heating element, which is the biggest cost of the part in the tool, and then pay a certified technician to replace the heating element, it's cost prohibitive. You might as well just buy a new tool itself as opposed to trying to get the heating element replaced. The tool alone is very competitively priced. And like I just mentioned, the 800-hour tool life will go a long way if you only run it an hour or two a day. So that's the overview of our new MH7. This, in my opinion, is going to be a game changer for the industry. We launched this tool initially, let's call it a soft launch at IRE this year, and we have over 250 tools in the market working. The bulk of them shipped in April. Since April, we have not had one return, not one. It's doing the job that it's supposed to do. So What I'd like to do for the remaining time in the slideshow is quickly go over some of our other tools for roofing. Our direct competitor to the Leister is our HG 2620. What makes this tool better than a Leister? Number one, it has a 10,000 hour brushless motor. It has a digital display where you can dial in from 120 degrees to 1300 degrees in 10-degree increments. 1300 degrees is hotter than a Leister. The quick change heating element. So this heating element is very simple to change. It doesn't require any desoldering. All you do is you just remove this shroud that's held on by you remove this shroud, which is held on by 2 screws. Pull the shroud off, and there's 4 screws here, and it's simple plug and play. Same with the power cord. There's 1 screw that holds the rubber boot on and 2 screws that hold in the cord. So the 2 most common things that roofer needs to do to his heat gun, the user can do. It's lighter than a Leister. The handle is thinner than a Leister. You can dial it in and get the exact temperature that you want. You can also program in 4 preset settings. So you can have 1 setting for TPO, 1 setting for EDPM, 1 setting for PVC, etc. And just again, hitting the highlights. As I mentioned, the field changeable heating element. The fine dust filter is also another user maintenance task that can be done. You simply remove this 1 screw here. There's a fine dust filter there. Clean that filter, replace it, and you're back. You're back in business. If you do that simple maintenance, maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, it'll definitely prolong the life of the tool. Also, there's the red safety indicator, which we talked about earlier. And the last thing I want to point out with the HG 2620, it has cutoff protection. And what exactly is that? Say you're working on a roof, the generator runs out of gas, the roofer is frustrated, he puts down the tool, it's still plugged in, he fills up the generator, he turns it back on. As soon as that generator turns back on, that power goes to the tool, and if it doesn't have restart protection, the tool would start. And then you have a tool that's running that's unattended. With the HG 2620, whenever power is interrupted, you must press the button here to turn it back on. So that's a nice safety feature that's built into this tool. And the last feature that I want to point out is a cool down mode. If you press and hold the power button for 3 seconds, the tool goes into a cool down mode where on the LCD screen it'll say cool, and it starts a 5-minute countdown. And it just is, the fan is just running, the heating element is turned off. During that 5 minutes, the heating element gets cooled down enough, and once the 5-minute counter reaches 0, the tool automatically comes off or turns off. And as you can see here, what we'd like to do is to sell this as a kit, where you get the tool, it comes with the spare heating element, the roller, 40mm nozzle, 90-degree detail nozzle, and a case. Our price point on this kit with the spare heating element and these additional accessories is less than just the Leister tool itself. The next tool I'd like to quickly go over for roofing, if you're, have price conscious people, we do offer the HG 2220. This tool is a very good, durable tool at a lower price point than the 2620. Less features, as you can see, it has a thumb wheel, two-stage airflow. So instead of a cool down mode, you just put it in the first stage of airflow and you turn the temperature down and it cools down. Can accept all nozzles, and we also sell it in a kit. It's just kind of a scaled down version of our 2620 for more price conscious customers. The last 2 tools I'd like to go over are our two other mobile heats. These are pistol grip cordless heat guns that also can work or also do work in the roofing industry. As you can see, it's your traditional pistol grip. There's the one thing about this tool, unlike the MH7, is you have to hold down the trigger. It has the MH. This is the MH5. Pardon me for not saying that from the outlet. Anyway, the MH5 is very similar. The controls are almost identical to the 2620, where you can dial in from 120 degrees Fahrenheit. This tool maxes out at 930 degrees. It is hot enough to do most roofing membranes. The one thing I would say is you got to move a little bit slower compared to a plug-in heat tool, and a little bit slower compared to the MH7, but it is possible. There are some people that prefer the pistol grip option, and that's what this is for. And as you can see, we sell it in a kit with the tool, 2 batteries, charger, adapter nozzle, and 40 millimeter nozzle. The last tool I'd like to quickly go over is the Mobile Heat 3. This is essentially the MH5, but a little bit scaled down. Instead of having the digital display like the MH5 has, you basically have 2 options. In this picture, it's in Celsius, but in Fahrenheit, it's 570 degrees and 930 degrees. For roofing purposes and the airflow with this tool, I would say only use the 930 degree setting. Again, like the MH5, you're gonna have to move a little bit slower compared to a plug-in tool or the MH7, but it will get the job done. And again, at a lower price point than some of our other tools. So just to recap, our current roofing portfolio, starting with the 2620 roofing kit, you get the 2620, a case, roller, 40 millimeter nozzle, 90 degree detailed nozzle, and the spare heating element. The MH7 roofing kit comes with the tool, case, 40 millimeter nozzle, 2 12 amp hour batteries, and a rapid charger. The one question I get is how long does it take to charge a 12 amp hour battery? With the rapid charger, it takes about 90 minutes to charge a 12 amp hour battery. The MH7 will take an 8 amp hour battery. Technically, it would even take a 4 amp hour battery, but obviously a battery that small is not going to last that long. So I highly suggest you stick with the 12 amp hour battery from Bosch. Those, if you want additional batteries, my suggestion would be to go to Lowe's or Home Depot and purchase additional batteries. The HG2220, as I mentioned, is just a scaled down version of the 2620 at a lower price point. We offer a simple kit, case, tool, and 40 millimeter nozzle. And then the MH3 or the MH5 roofing kits come with the same assortment, case, tool, 40 millimeter nozzle, adapter nozzle, 2 8 amp hour batteries, and the standard charger. Unfortunately, the batteries from the MH3 and the MH5 are not compatible with the batteries from the MH7. Frankly, it's a different brand. When we developed the MH3 and the MH5, we had a working relationship with Metabo. We went with their battery platform. And then when we developed the MH7, there were some things going on in Germany, and we made the decision to go to the Bosch battery platform, which is actually, in my opinion, a little bit more favorable to the American consumer, because those batteries are much more readily available than the Metabo batteries. So in closing, thank you very much for your time today. Just Steinel, we are known for our high quality. We're at the forefront of technology. We are very efficient, and we have very safe tools. That concludes my presentation. Questions?
Thanks, Mike. Yes, we have one question at this time. What is the lead time for the MH7, and are there any available at the moment?
Right now, we have 173 MH7s in stock. That is tool only. If you only want the tool itself without the battery and charger, you could ship right away. You can place a PO, we could ship right away. We are waiting on batteries from Bosch. They are due in at the end of this month. Hopefully the last week of July, we will have the batteries that we've been waiting on, and then we'll be able to ship full kits.
Okay, thanks, Mike. That's the only question we had right now. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.